You know that vibrant golden spice that's suddenly in everything? Your latte, your supplements? We're talking about turmeric. Or, more to the point, its active ingredient, curcumin. It's been hyped up as this miracle compound that can fix just about anything. But today, we're going to dig in and ask a simple question. How much of that is real, and how much is just really, really good marketing?
I mean, you really can't escape it, right? It's everywhere. It's packed into capsules and powders and drinks, and they all promise this incredible list of health benefits. But here's the thing. Promises and proof, they're two totally different things. So today, our mission is to slice right through all that marketing noise and look at what the science actually says.
And make no mistake, this is not some small, niche health trend. We're talking big business. Turmeric is the #1 best-selling botanical supplement in the entire U.S. That is a massive market built entirely on the idea that it's good for you, which, makes it even more important that we understand what we're really buying.
Okay, before we go any further, let's just get one thing crystal clear. Turmeric, that's the spice, the root itself. But curcumin, that's the powerful active compound inside the turmeric. So when you hear people talking about all these amazing health benefits, they're not really talking about the spice, they're talking about curcumin.
All right, let's start with the fun part, the promise. Why is everyone so obsessed with this stuff? Let's dive into the incredible range of potential benefits that has everyone, including a ton of scientists, so excited.
So, to get the real bird's eye view, scientists did something called an umbrella review. The best way to picture this is like, instead of looking at one tree at a time, they climbed a giant watchtower to see the entire forest of research all at once. It's a review of all the other reviews out there.
And wow, what a forest they found. Now, don't worry about reading every single line on this chart. Just take a second to look at it. The sheer volume is staggering. Curcumin has been studied for dozens and dozens of different health conditions, which is exactly why it's got this reputation as a do-it-all wonder supplement.
To boil it down, the research touches on pretty much every system in the body. We're talking blood sugar, blood pressure, cholesterol, inflammation, joint pain, even brain health, gut health, and liver function. I mean, on paper, the potential seems just about endless.
Okay, so that all sounds pretty amazing, right? But, and there's always a but with these things, potential isn't the same as proof. So it's time for a little reality check on the evidence behind all these incredible claims.
And this is the million-dollar question, isn't it? With so many studies pointing in a positive direction, you'd think this would be a slam dunk. The case would be closed. But how good are those studies? How strong is the proof, really?
Okay, I want you to look at this one number, 76%. Just let that sink in for a second, because what it means is, well, it's a bit of a bombshell.
So what is that 76%? It means that in that giant umbrella review we talked about, a whopping 3/4 of the studies they looked at were rated as having critically low or very low quality. In plain English, the foundation of the research is shaky. It's got serious flaws, and that makes most of the conclusions pretty unreliable.
Let's go back to that big chart again, but this time I want you to look at that column on the far right, the one that says grade level. See all of that red text for very low and yellow for low? That's the scientific community putting up a huge red flag. It's their way of saying, for most of these things, our confidence in the evidence is, well, it's just not there.
You don't have to take my word for it. The study's own conclusion says it all. It basically says, hey, it seems safe and looks like it helps with a bunch of stuff, but the studies we have just aren't good enough to prove it. There's a whole lot of promise, but the proof, it's weak.
So the weak evidence is one piece of the puzzle. But there's another more immediate concern that we absolutely have to talk about, and that's safety. Specifically, how curcumin can interact with other medicines you might already be taking.
This is so important. We hear the word natural and our brains automatically think safe, but that is a dangerous assumption. Just because something comes from a plant doesn't mean it's harmless. Curcumin is a biologically powerful compound, and it has a very real potential to mess with other drugs.
And experts are sounding the alarm. This advice service basically says that because the information is limited, we need to be cautious. A lack of data isn't a free pass, it's a warning sign. It means we don't know what we don't know, and that's risky.
And we're not talking about minor stuff here. Look at this. If you take a common blood thinner, curcumin could actually increase your risk of bleeding. If you're on medication for diabetes, it could cause your blood sugar to drop to a dangerous low. It can even interfere with statins and some chemotherapy drugs. These are serious, real-world consequences.
Okay, so we've looked at the hype, we've picked apart the evidence, and we've talked about the risks. So, where does all of this leave us? Let's tie it all together and figure out the final takeaway in this whole curcumin conundrum.
So here's the bottom line. On one hand, you have this mountain of potential benefits that's fueling all the hype. But on the other hand, you have a tiny little molehill of high-quality proof. And when you add in the very real danger of drug interactions, it becomes crystal clear. There is a massive gap between the promise of curcumin and the proven facts.
And really, that leaves us with a much bigger question, one that goes way beyond this one supplement. In a world that is just flooded with wellness trends and promising new research, how do we make smart choices for ourselves? How do we balance that feeling of hope from early research with the cold, hard reality of what's actually been proven? That's the real conundrum we all have to think about.